Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about quad rail versus A2 post rail. Right, so as you guys can see, I've got the light mounted on this little rail here. This one is from Tuff Zone. It was $15. Now, this quad rail went on here about, I guess, 5 years ago. The reason why it went on here is because at the time I was trying to find an A2 post rail like this, right? And I just could not find it anywhere without paying like an insanely stupid price for, basically two little pieces of Picatinny rail, right? So I thought it was silly to pay like anything more than like $15 to $20 for this A2 post rail. So the quad rail that you see here, right? This came from AIM Sports, and I did a review on this in the past. This was like $30. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take the quad rail. I'll put it on there. So let me get this light off here for a second. So I do have, obviously these are Streamlight lights, and I do have like the pressure pad switches that you can mount onto the rifle. I do have one of my AR set up like that with a semi-permanent light with a pressure pad. In that case, I put it on the off side, and I put the pressure pad on top. One of the reasons I have found I prefer just to have a light that mounts onto the gun that you can activate with your thumb is that you can take it off if you need to and just use it as a handheld light. So that's one of the benefits I have found, just being able to mount it like this. So before I put this A2 Picatinny rail there, what I would do is, on this one, I would mount it right here in the front. Okay, and it would work, but it was basically I'd have to hold the gun like really back over here and activate it with my thumb like that. Okay, and here's the thing: if you run into something, you're gonna jab your thumb pretty hard at this. So I never liked that this was just sitting so far back. Now there are other options. I did experiment with like putting a pistol light there, so that would work. Obviously, the pistol light is shorter. They're about the same. I mean, they're both this and my pistol lights are about 1,000 looms. But I kind of lived with it. I kind of lived with this setup for a couple of years, right? So I recently saw this for $15 on Amazon from Tuff Zone, and I said, let's get this and try this out. And I really liked it. In fact, I put it on this one over here. Now this one has a longer handguard. Okay, so I took off the quad rail because this rifle here had the quad rail for a number of years. First thing, as soon as I took that quad rail off, because this is a longer grip over here, it lightened this gun up significantly. So if you have a long grip like this, if at all possible, stick with the plastic. Okay, if you have this type of a setup, this works great because I can activate this with my thumb. Right, I can activate that with my thumb. Okay, or even if I want to work this on my offside, I can reach my thumb over the top, and I can activate it like that. So this has the benefit of being able to work it from either side, lefty or righty. So I've been playing around with this for a couple of weeks now. I said, I like this. I like this a lot better than the quad rail. Let me do the same thing to that one over there. Okay, so this one can stay on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the camera, and I'm going to get this rail off here. It comes off pretty easy. There's 4 Allen screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then basically you gotta, this is the pain in the ass. You gotta pull back on this little ring back here, and then these will lift out. On some guns it comes off easy. On some guns it comes off really hard. You gotta pull it really back. They do make a tool to help you out. I don't have the tool, so I'm gonna have to work at this. So let me pause the camera and let me do that, and I'll come back and I'll show you guys what this gun looks like. All right, everyone, got it done. The quad rail came out pretty easy. but getting the plastic, pulling this thing back and getting the plastic ones in there, that took a little bit of work. It's a lot easier if you have a tool that's designed to do it, but if you don't, you can make it work. I actually had to pull it back. I used a screwdriver to get just a little bit of leverage and pull the ring back and get it in there. So there it is. That's how it looks. Like, definitely lightened up the rifle significantly. Okay, so that's definitely a reason to stick with the plastic ones, because these quad rails, it's not like an M-lock rail, right? Which, you just put the rails where you need it. The quad rail, you've got a lot of metal that's permanently on this thing. And this one over here is the shorter one. This one's like the 6-inch. If you got the longer ones, they're going to be even heavier. Light on there. So there we go. A nice, easy solution. And I can now run this over the top. I couldn't do it before because before the light was like sitting back here, so it was really hard to get my thumb behind it if I was working it on the offside. But with this, I can reach that thumb. I can reach that thumb button from either side. So this is a really good solution if you've got this style of an AR. That's also cheaper, right? This thing was only $15. They're not always available. A couple of years ago when I was looking for it, could not find it for a cheap price. Right now they're $15 on Amazon. It's called Tuff Zone. If you got one of these ARs, I definitely recommend it. And like I said, I've used the quad rail for a number of years. For me to be switching back, there's a good reason for it. Okay. A couple other benefits, secondary benefits. The plastic, obviously, if you shoot lots of rounds, the heat transfers to this will get hotter, right? So if you shoot like 5-6 full magazines, you're not going to be able to hold this with your bare hand, or at least it's going to start getting really uncomfortable. Okay, whereas with the plastic, you will be able to hold it. So that's a benefit. Other benefit is the quad rail has lots of sharp edges on it, and not that big of a deal. I mean, I used it for years, but I'm going back to the plastic for other reasons, primarily that I just want to be able to put the light up there. So given that I'm going back to the plastic, hey, you know what? It's nice that I don't have to deal with sharp edges on this. So that's I mean, that wasn't like a deciding issue, but hey, now that I'm there, I kind of like that better. So there it is. I'm able to push this forward. I can reach it from either side. It's pretty cheap. Years ago, like 5 years ago, my mindset was I want to be ready for anything. I want to be able to put anything on the gun that I can possibly use. So I had this on them. So hey, at some point, if I get some, I don't know, night vision equipment, I can mount a night laser on top of that. I never did. Okay, so now my mindset is, you know what? Just put on the rifle what you're gonna need. All right, the things that you're gonna need. Don't think too far ahead. I mean, yeah, you want an AR that you can. It's nice that you. Hey, I'm not throwing this out, right? So if down the road I ever decide that, hey, I'm doing something where I need to have a quad rail, I can always put the quad rail back on there. One of the reasons why you might want to use the quad rail is if you're using a vertical grip, right? The vertical grip, if you're the kind of guy that likes to hold the rifle like this, yeah, the quad rail is good for that. That's not what I do. I don't like vertical grips. With certain things, certain ways, the way I shoot, they kind of get in the way. I find that the vertical grip just hits a lot of things, adds more weight to the front of the gun. So I don't use vertical grips. So another reason why this is not something that I need to have on the rifle right now. But hey, I mean, I have it. So if I ever do want to put it back on, I can put it back on. So for now, this is pretty much how this rifle is going to be. I already tested it out on this one, shot this for a couple of weeks. I'm like, yeah, this is the way I want to go. I will go back to the plastic on these. Now, I do like the free-floating rails better, okay? Years ago, I was kind of like, I don't know, do I like this, do I like that? I do tend to like the free-floating rails better. Pretty much all of the new ARs that I buy since I purchased these several years ago, they're all free-floated rails, right? Free-floated M-lock rails. But, you know, obviously I'm not getting rid of these. You know, I like them. I like them for, in fact, the fact that these now have the plastic on them, you know, and on this one I went back and I put the carry handle on there because it's different, you know. So if you're gonna have lots of ARs, it might as well be different, right? So that's why it made sense for me to go back to the plastic on this one. I put the carry handle on this. I even mounted the optic on top of that. With this one, mounted the optic on top of the rail over here. So, you know, if you're gonna have lots of ARs, you might as well set them up differently so you can have a different experience on a different rifle. So, anyway, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you all soon.